Soul Sessions with Michelle and Narda. I'm Michelle,
I'm
and
Narda.
this beautiful Narda.
Thank you.
How are you doing today, Narda?
I am good. I feel as though what we're going to talk about is really going to be impactful for people now
Yes,
or in the future. Like I really feel it in my heart. I really, really feel that something is about to boost.
I'm
So,
sensing that too. I'm getting that
mhm,
intense feeling that this is very purposeful. Speaking of which,
yeah.
let's check out what we have in terms of today's downloads. So, today's downloads, what are you feeling in your heart and mind?
Ah, beautiful. What I feel that's answering the call of our soul, answering the call of God within. And there's so much we can talk about that, but I really, really feel we all are being no, the phone line is ringing. God is calling, in whatever form, whether it be a purpose or passion, our higher calling, our life purpose is calling. And
Yes,
I feel as though many people are either misinterpreting it or ignoring it or denying themselves from hearing it.
yes.
And I have something I've been thinking about through clients and friends and different people that I've encountered who are almost afraid to hear or to listen or to like acknowledge that they're hearing the call, because
Yes.
once you acknowledge, that means you have to give up
Have to
certain
answer?
things that is not serving you.
Yes.
And when you give up certain things that are not serving you, you have to be accountable for your own healing, for your own growth, for stepping forward. And sometimes stepping forward means that the things that you have to give up are the things that you have made yourself identify with as though it's part of you. And it's almost as though it's the end all be all of your existence, whether it be a job, whether it be a relationship that is not working, whether it be aspects and addictive qualities of self, whatever it may be. It's that things that you're getting the repetitive guidance within yourself. You keep hearing, it's time to end this, it's time to move on, it's time da, 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 whatever it may be. And a lot of people don't know or haven't acknowledged the fact that that's inner guidance. A lot of people don't even know that's a repetitive voice within, or a thought or a feeling in your heart is actually divine guidance. So answering the call of the soul.
In Call of the Soul. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. What life has taught me is that if you don't listen to that whisper within,
Yeah.
eventually you're gonna hear this loud shout
Hmm.
without. So it's
Yes.
like either answer or it's going to get louder. And when it gets
Yes.
louder,
Yes. Yeah.
you just simply
Yeah.
can't deny it. It's usually in
Yeah.
a way that is not as easy to cope with. So it's always best, I think, to listen to that whisper within. In terms of the
Yeah.
download that I'm getting, I think we're fitting beautifully together because the download that's coming my way is the importance of relaxing in the
Mm,
situation, knowing that it's not happening to you but for you. Letting the is.
mm,
Just stay in
ah,
that is, understanding that it's all happening in your favor. And as you said,
yeah.
answering the call, getting up and doing it, walking by faith, not by sight, taking
Mm-hmm.
that risk of booking the flight,
Mm.
even though you might be thinking, I don't have this yet,
Yes.
I don't have that yet, I need to do
Right.
it.
Right.
And
Right.
that is the law of inspired action. Everyone
Ah,
speaks
yes.
about the law in terms of the secret, the law of attraction, but there's so many other laws. And the law
Yeah.
of inspired action is something that we must
Mm,
pay close attention to.
yeah.
That inner
Yeah.
voice, when it says, it is time. Don't
Yes.
think of what's happening around you. Pay attention to the still voice within you. Be still.
Hmm.
And when in
Mm,
that stillness, you know it is time, you walk
mm,
despite of what the road may look like. You know the
mm,
destination that you're heading to.
yeah. Yeah.
Whisper
I
within.
love that. Yeah, because coming back to having to follow inspired action. Not everything is going to line up how our minds tell it is going to line up. Your mind is not your divine, your divine self. God is going to speak through you through your mind as well, but mostly through your heart. And you're going to have sometimes how God speaks to you. It's not this. It's very still. It's very peaceful. It requires trust. It requires faith. It requires, here, what I'm going to dive and taking that leap. And a lot of people, and I'm by no form of fashion. I've been there. I may go through that, oftentimes, but I also have to pull myself back and to be able to, like, okay, what is the voice of God? What is the voice of your fear? Or what is the voice of your mind? And oftentimes, I've heard I think someone said to me months ago, my mind is telling me this, but I know is the mind is actually could come. There's a thin line between intuition and a thin line between your fear or what you want it to be. So you're gonna have to tune in to like feel like, okay, what is really, and be utterly honest. What is the voice of God? What is the stillness? The stillness doesn't oftentimes doesn't have a backing of something,
Yes.
a data package of like, this is going to happen on Wednesday and da 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 da. Da. Sometimes that stillness is just saying trust, take a leap, go forward. And oftentimes we have to be able to step into more. We have to listen to that. And you were talking about those nudges that we get, or that wake up call. Sometimes God nudges us very lightly, and the light nudge is, it may come in a form of a thought, it may come in form of a feeling, and then the nudge gets a little louder when we're not listening, and then the nudge turns into something bigger. And we don't want it to turn into bigger, because bigger might oftentimes be an illness that is trying to wake you up. It might be ending of a relationship. God been guiding you for months or for years to
Yes.
end that relationship, but then the relationship, bam, come and blows up in your face. So it's like listening to the gentle nudges as it comes, and not waiting until your bank account is showing you a sign you're being evicted, or waiting until the job fires you or whatever, but taking the
Yes.
nudges when God says, hey, put out those resumes, or God says, start that small business so you can do it on your Saturdays, whatever it may be. That listening to it doesn't, you don't get as I said, you don't get a manual. You don't get a data package of like, hey, this is what's gonna happen next week or next month. You're gonna
Yes.
have to follow that gentle
That inner
nudge, like,
guidance. And it's amazing how you said starting your business, even doing it on Saturdays when you're getting that gentle nudge. And I
mm-hmm,
think it's vital that we pay attention to the realization that you can do what is your dream, what is your desire in tandem with what is your in the meantime zone. It
right,
doesn't mean that you have to give up one completely because the
mm-hmm,
quiet voice said move. The
mm-hmm,
quiet voice may be telling
right,
you to move, but it does not mean that you have to give up every single thing to be
yes,
able to move closer toward your
yeah,
goal,
yeah,
move closer toward your vision, move closer toward your dream. Just move.
yeah. And
That's
letting go of perfectionism, like thinking like it have to be, you need that $20,000 to start. Sometimes all you need is that $50. You could buy a piece of equipment here, there, save it up, cut back on those Starbucks coffees, or cut back on the weekend splurges that you're paying the bill for all your friends. Like,
yes.
give to yourself and put aside for your future. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be something ginormous. Actually, the small steps moving forward is the most realistic, and
Despise
it,
not
it,
small beginnings. Despise not small beginnings.
right, right. And it works best with the belief system, because some people might say the big thing is actually, yes, I'm doing it in a big way, but your belief systems or your subconscious mind may not be in agreement to that big way. So you
Yes,
might be saying, yes, I want to do things in a big way, but subconsciously, when you tap into that, and there's ways, as of course through hypnosis and through other techniques that I do, like you can tap into your subconscious
yes,
mind and realize that, yeah, what you're not in agreement to that big thing, you
yes.
actually, it will work best in your belief system and your own current mind makeup to start small and build from there.
And you know, big things seem scary, but the fear shouldn't be what is preventing you from an
Mm,
undertaking. There is this quotation that says, fear is faith inverted. And you always
mm,
want to ensure that you stay on the path of faith. So you
Mm,
may be called to do something that may appear to you
mm-hmm,
as big, as scary. But the important thing is that you're not answering one,
mm.
like the call of someone else, that you're answering the call that's on your cell phone, your cellular makeup.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not doing somebody else's big thing, small thing, little thing, or there's that perception of time and there's that perception of size in which in reality it's just a perception. It's what you
Mm,
perceive at this point. But the important thing, I think, in all that we're seeing is not necessarily the size of the undertaking, but the depth of the undertaking. Is it something that is calling to you from deep within your very core?
mm.
That I think
Right.
is the magic.
And in alignment to what God is
Yes,
saying.
yes,
The inner alignment that you're hearing. And I might be using the word God, and some people might be more comfortable with the word universe, but God is,
yes.
it's a frequency. It's the words, we get caught up in
Vibration,
words, labels.
energy, creator,
Yeah.
but call it
All
what
that is
you
the great
wish
I
for.
am.
Yes, the great I am.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Sarah Inglefield says, "Hello, morning, beautiful souls." Good morning,
Good
Sarah.
morning. Good morning, Sarah.
And also Arietta Martino says, "Hello, I'm watching you flying high now to Fort Lauderdale. This is my cousin. He is in the air right now talking to us. So this is awesome." And this, I think, is further validation for what we were talking about because we're supposed to
Yes,
be heading there sometime soon. And
yes,
what are the
yes,
odds? It's calling us.
yes.
So we're hearing that whisper too.
It's a confirmation in our little,
The
little talks that, yeah,
confirmation.
yeah.
Yes. And Sarah says that is a huge, huge point. I ignored my calling for such a long time because I knew
Mm,
what it meant. I knew that I would need to make a total life upheaval in
mm-hmm.
order to be reborn. And
Right,
that's the
right.
thing, everyone's call is different. Everyone's ringtone is
Yeah.
different,
Yes,
literally and figuratively.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
For some persons, it may show up like repetitively over and over in your mind, in your heart. You might hear it, and God uses the media in different forms and whatever
yes,
to confirm it, but it may sound differently for each person. And that's why I highly suggest people don't wait until you're at rock bottom to try to
yeah.
answer the call. Answer the call now when you have a salary coming in. Answer the call now when you have a savings. Answer the call now when things are, at least you're in a neutral state of happiness. You don't have to be ultra happy or flying off the rope or something. Answer the call now. Answer the call.
All
Don't
you
wait
have to do
until
is
you
be
have.
Lionel Richie. Hello,
Hello.
is
Or
it me
Adele.
you're looking for? True. To the Lionel or the Adele. Also want to say hi to Michaela Pandey, True Virego, like
Oh,
Sarah. And she says,
yes.
great advice.
Beautiful.
Lisa Gomez says,
Yes.
beautiful.
Ah, yes,
We
it's
have
afternoon. Good afternoon, Mary.
Lisa, good afternoon. And Jamil Arietta Martino says, JetBlue flight 1501. Should that be the flight we should be heading
Maybe.
on?
I do love JetBlue though.
And the entire
Uh,
crew at JetBlue is listening on
Beautiful.
flight 1501. Much love to you. They're
Oh,
watching and they're
yes,
amazed at the
JetBlue.
words
You
of
guys are
wisdom.
one of my favorites.
So that is it. We know where we need to go and how we need to get there, right? Thank you.
God is making it abundantly clear.
Yes.
Oh,
And Karen
good
McKnight says,
morning,
good
Karen.
morning. And we have Kim says, hi, ladies. Hi, Kim. It's
Hello,
such a pleasure
Kim.
to have you. Hello.
Yes.
Answer that call.
Ah, yeah, it's so deep. Like one of my friends, Kirk Nugent, people can go on YouTube and research him. He has a poem called "Answer the Call." Oh yes, Cuzzle.
We answer this call. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, he went from his name to Cuzzle, right? He became my cousin very fast.
Yes.
Oh,
My
hi
family is your
Sheldon.
family. Hi,
Oh,
Sheldon. It's
beautiful
great to have you.
family. Yes,
So
yes.
this is is an example too, and I think we have a lot of that manifestations that come now.
Yeah, you
Give
just
that
gotta stay in your
example.
peace. It's so beautiful because anytime you and I would have a conversation, if it's, not
Yes,
on here, but in general, that we're, always the high vibe. And we may not have started off like completely high in our individual energies, but by the time we get on and we start to talk some stuff, our vibration goes up. And that's the thing is like, it really ties into what you were saying. Is like sometimes when we're getting started and we answering that call, you may not be flying off the roof and be super duper excited, but just
right.
making the step one step in front of the other, eventually that vibe is going to build, and the vibe may not always stay high. You may come
Right.
off a little bit and you might be looking at some real human stuff and like, okay, the statistics and how is this business going to work, and having to very
Right.
human the thing and adult the thing, right?
Yes.
But it's the thing is that staying in the energy of like you were given the vision. And I think like let's talk about that a little bit, right?
Yes.
When you are the one given the vision, I have to say this. When I started off as a hypnotist and life coach and started to study all these different alternative healing modalities and Japanese, Chinese, all these different things, my
Yes.
beautiful father in Trinidad, who lives in Cuba, he said to me, get a real job. And that was, I started off 12 years ago. And he
Wow.
told me, and I was so convinced, Michelle, I was so convinced, you guys, of telling my dad, like, but dad, you don't know how much people I'm helping. There's so many, this woman came with a situation and she helped, I helped her, God used me and to help this woman, da, 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 da. And I tried to convince my father to get that out of him, to like be proud of me, right? And that was my, I was in my 20s at a point in time. So my mid 20s, and like now I don't care if anybody's approval. I just like, is just listening to within myself and going with what feels exciting for me. So when God gives you the vision, no one else doesn't have to be in agreement to anybody else's belief system. It
Correct.
doesn't have to be in agreement to anybody else's heart or what they think it may be. Now I have to say something as it's coming to me right now.
Yes.
Oftentimes, one person's opinion of something may not be in alignment to the opinion of God or the divine or Holy Spirit or the universe or source or creator, the great I am, you know, um, and it may not look anything like what God have given to you. But it's okay. And some people come from the best place of their heart to try to convince you because they think that it's their place. But love them nonetheless. Love them, thank them. I appreciate your advice. Don't brush them off and insult them when you think, oh, go on with your sword. So nothing like that. But just remember your vision when it's given to you. It's you feel the passion, the excitement, the zeal. You can go 10 miles without any addition sustenance or any
True.
other words from God within yourself. But you can push that extra mile when you start off that small business and you're broke. You
Yes.
can still go. You can still work till 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. You can still go because that vision is within you.
Pushing
You know.
you. And I am happy that you said that. And it reminds me very much of my journey as well. Because as a broadcaster, I'm happy that I had the experience and that lesson made manifest a lot earlier
Mm.
in life. I was about 6 or 7 years old when I said, I want to be a broadcaster.
Mm.
I want to be on radio.
Oh.
And I remember getting a tap in my head, oh, that don't pay.
Oh my
But
gosh. Yes.
I remember being gifted this toy microphone, the Echo
Oh.
microphone, and any opportunity I would get, I would be with this microphone
Mm.
just announcing things in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, Grandpa has just entered the household. Grandma does not look very happy. Of course,
Oh.
no one really appreciated that.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I was selling out everyone's files. But at the same point in time, as destiny would have it, when I was about
Mm-hmm.
8 or 9, I was given the opportunity to simply announce at a show that my grandmother was having, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of Trinidad and Tobago. That was it. But for me, that was everything.
Yes. Mm.
At 8 or 9, and I'm hearing
Oh.
my voice coming through the speakers, it felt like life. Again, I put it
Mm-hmm.
aside and I kept saying, all right, they're saying that's not a job, lawyer, lawyer, lawyer. But
Yes.
everything I was doing was already in the
Yes.
energy of it. So you
Yeah.
need to stay in the energy of your vision, in the energy of your
Yes.
dream. Despite the no, you've got to go. When I hear no, I still go. I
Yeah.
still go.
Yeah.
And I did a project for a teacher on a cassette when I was just about 11 or 12. And when she heard it, she said, Michelle, is that you? I said, yes, yes, Miss Gomez, that's me. You're so quiet in class. You've got a lovely voice. And then she had
Aw.
me host all of these school shows. And I remember the very first school show that I hosted. They had me behind the curtain. And then at the end, they revealed this was actually our student. And when I went into the audience, I'm not going to say what relative told me, not radio, radio is not it, but that relative was in
Mhm.
the audience saying, That's my child. Yes, I said what relative is my mom. That's my child. Anyone who did not know I was her child on that day, it's because she
Yes.
could not get to them. But she was so proud. And that's the thing. Everyone might say no, but you just
Yes, yes,
go,
yes,
just
yes.
keep
Yeah.
going. And you would
Yeah.
realize that it's all conspiring in your favor. And I think
Yes.
learning that lesson easily,
Yeah.
that is why I just literally let go. And
Mhm.
I think an
Mhm.
example of that would be anytime I go for a massage, like Natalie, where I go to get my massages, she would always say, Michelle, I don't feel any tension, and you're the easiest person to, in the sessions I have with you. You even say you're the easiest person to go under hypnosis because
Yes.
you just put me, and I'm like,
Yes. Easy
I
peasy. You gotta
literally
share
just,
that story about how when you went to the hypnosis and you thought it was 15 minutes and it was actually like 2 hours or something like that when we.
yes, so much time passed, and I didn't realize until I listened to our recordings.
Yeah. And so it's, oh my gosh, the nuggets of information we're dropping right now, that it really is something else when you are being guided, when it's coming to you. And I also have to say, stay flexible. When we are giving a vision, the vision you might at first God will use lingo on give you an
Yes.
example of someone else being done, or if it's not being done at all, something that
Hmm.
it could reach you at. And really that is to open you up. And then it can grow and it can develop into something bigger and bigger. For you, the first vision was to be a radio announcer, to be on radio, to be a media personality, and that kind of thing. And then look how amazing your purpose is just blossoming into this, that's books and now motivational work, and then helping clients, and we know this is just the beginning, but
Yes.
it's like in anything that we start, be very flexible, and it
Yes.
morphing into something even more beautiful than you
More.
can be placed in your heart. Yeah.
Just keep going. I am seeing that we have Chris Garcia on, one of our very own here in TNT, whose music I absolutely love. We have Lisa Gomez,
Beautiful.
and Lisa says, The vision is yours. It was given to you for a reason. God knows how capable you are, and no one can tell you what you
Oh
can or
gosh.
cannot do.
Exactly. Something else is coming up too, Michelle, is the fact that, okay, oftentimes our family and our close friends from childhood, whatever, high school friends, they are the ones who would be the voices of judgment. Let's just use that. Because they've seen you go through all your little craziness, they've seen you
Yes.
grow, have your human experiences that was actually probably divinely ordained for you to have,
Yes.
go through your little phases in life. And but sometimes they're the ones who judge you, and sometimes those judgments are the ones that comes to you that make you feel that you are incapable of what God have placed in your heart, right? Whether it be, I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70 years and the judgment came from something you did yesterday. What's that vision being placed in your heart? That is the vision you gotta follow and you gotta flow with. These people will oftentimes judge you based on your childhood stuff, the things that
True.
you went through in your last divorce, the things, it
Yes.
doesn't matter. But you gotta still trust that, they don't know what they do, as so in the Bible I quoted Jesus. Somewhere in the Bible it said, I'm not a big scripture person, but I do believe in the wisdom. Right,
Yes.
so they know not what they do. So follow your inner guidance. Follow what
Yes.
is placed in your heart. If it's to start something, start it small. Build yourself up. Work with your belief systems while you work on it. Sometimes not all of our belief systems, consciously or subconsciously, are in alignment to God or our higher versions of ourselves. But work with it. Start up and build. Enjoy the flow. Enjoy the process.
Indeed. And as we intensify that phrase, despise not small beginnings, And that word, flexible, you said such an important word, Narada,
Mm.
flexible.
Oh.
You may be wanting to get something, but don't
Mhm.
expect only one road to get you there.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
I
I am seeing we have Penelope Spencer on, award-winning actress and just an all-round
beautiful.
fantastic person. True Virego. It is a pleasure to have you, Auntie Penny. Thank you. And happy
Thank
that we could
you.
make you LOL. But flexibility is an important word
Yes. Yes.
because even if dealing with sponsors, let's say for an event, yes, you may want something specific, but if they can't give what you need at
Mm.
that point in time, know that whatever they have that they can give, having something is better than having nothing.
Right. Right.
Be flexible with yourself, with others, with your purpose, with your vision, with your dream, your
Mm.
goal. Just be
Mhm.
flexible. Make it happen.
Yes.
Know that it's all working in your favor. And once you keep that in mind, knowing that it's all working for your greater good, then
Yeah.
whatever comes your way, it is to help you get to where you're going.
Right.
However it comes.
Something you said there really triggered this is living in the question. And let
Yes.
me say, explain this a little bit. And oftentimes, things you have a vision, you have a desire. This thing is popping up within you, and you're going, like, say, for instance, you in marketing and going to sponsors and going to these different people, or even someone trying to put on a play or something with music, as you know, and you're trying to get something done, but you are seeing limited options presented.
Yes.
Living in the question is how I say it. Ask the people what else is possible. Now,
Yes.
that's how I live, me personally, with divine, with God, with creator. I ask, what else is possible? Is there another way? What else is there that I'm not seeing? If only I see, I will have greater clarity. And I'm not insisting that I get the answer by the end of the day. You know, you could
Yes.
intentionally say that, but I think to keep it lighter and without you looking out for that, where's the answer? Where's the answer? Living in a question and like, what else is possible? What else? What am I not seeing? What is there another perspective that I can see? If only I see it, will bring me great joy, will
Exactly.
bring peace, will open up this project greater than I could possibly think. And so living in the question is like, okay, I'll give you a real life example from myself. My
Yes.
question for this week, and I literally said it to God when I woke up Monday morning. I said, what is there about myself that I'm yet to learn that I can learn right now? And
Hmm.
if I tell you that what came up
Always something
yesterday,
to learn. Please tell me what came up.
okay, I have to, and I'm keeping it real and all authentic. Now, okay, I'm a giver, right?
Yes.
I'm not a giver by the fact that I'm only it brings me joy. I'm more of on the overextender side of it. Now, why did Narda become an overextender? Growing up in Trinidad, my dad insisted on everything having to be spick and span, and he was an interesting soul, right?
Yes.
Let me respect the matter and let's say in Jonah, he was an interesting soul in terms that it wasn't always peace. So it was mainly more chaos and confusion than anything. So as a child, I learned I had to be my best and even better than my best. So I learned to overextend from a very young age. And how did I come to know these things? I sit with myself a lot. I listen to the voice of God a lot. I'm my biggest life coach, I go
Yes.
within quite often. So now a lot of people can find this as well and for themselves. And so in life, I generally give because I learned from a very young age, I'm not enough. You're not enough. So you have to overindulge. So
Overgive.
this week, overgive. So what I learned in my own introspection,
Mhm.
this past couple of days is the fact that I've been working on the worthiness and the enoughness and all of that.
Yes.
But it's the fact that you meet people where they're at. So in
Yes.
terms of you, there's a lot of takers, and we talk about 2 sessions ago. We talk about the aloha spirit on my last trip to, and
I love
the aloha way, the Hawaiian beautiful people. If I learned a few weeks ago, working with them and sitting with them and enjoying Hawaii, it's the aloha way is about giving and receiving. It's like there's an exchange. This
be
is a
open to
joy. It's not
receiving
like
as well. A lot of givers
yes.
I've noticed aren't really good receivers.
Exactly. And you also, religion kind of confirms that too, right? Because
Hmm.
religion says it's better to be a giver than to be a receiver. But who
Yes,
receives? That the church, or that's that the the religious institutions. But
yes,
yeah, coming back is, you're programmed all these things. Okay, so first of all, you perceive something as a child about, okay, you're not enough, or you have to overgive, or you have to show up, you got to keep showing up, you're on guard all the
right.
time. And then society, belief systems shows up through media, through religion, through, and I grew up in the church, so of course learning also that I had to give, always be giving. You always have to give to God. But
Mhm.
this could go a whole different direction in terms of sharing more
Yes,
information and us talking about
yes,
this. But yeah, so breaking it down from, now society validated my false perception and my false belief about overgiving, and it's important. You have to give it, and it really stemmed from there. And then sitting with myself, like, oh no, you gotta have the balance. And I'm a Libra, right? So the
balance.
balance is another lesson.
You need balance as a Libra, yes?
Yes, because
And
okay, and I,
yeah,
I would also say this too, even in my work, as my work is spiritually based, everybody's work should be spiritually based. Every down to a restaurant, down to a corporate institution should be spiritually based. But I've
everything.
had a lot of my beautiful Trinidad and Tobago people who come from religion have said, in opposition, you should be doing this for free. But you got to remember, my work is back in the day, a
People
person doing
is
something
worthy
similar,
of his pay.
right? They were supported by the church or by the, whatever religious institution. They were given, everything was done on donations. But also,
Yes,
in terms of my work, I've studied a bit for what I do, like, go
yes,
about, and so religion, in another sense, as a practicing facilitator in the work that I do for the past 12 years, have said, because you use your gifts, my darling, we all should be using our gifts.
everybody is
Why
using
is
it.
it because I
Yes,
use my gifts means that I should not be paid?
yes,
Because I use my gifts in hypnosis, I use my gifts in all these modalities that have studied and I practice with clients all
yes.
over the world. I use my gifts. My question is, why aren't you using your gifts?
Can I say something though? Here's what I have learned, and this is a bit of how person started to actually pay me for my time. In terms of, I realized everyone always wanted a piece, a little bit of advice. Tell me something. I need some of your time. You take the time, you give the advice, and you don't see anything come of it. But
Mhm.
when you
Oh
ask for
yeah,
my
I've had
time and
that
I
one.
say, here's what, 45 minutes of my time, here's how much it's going to cost,
Hmm.
then people get serious. And then the same
People more
advice that
invested when
I
they
give.
pay. Yeah,
Yes, you, I always say to persons, you don't realize, but there are times when you're doing a disservice of just giving something for free because it
yeah,
must have that
yes.
equal
They're not
exchange.
accountable. Yeah,
Subconscious, you were dealing with. When you make that
yeah,
exchange, subconscious is
yes,
now being affected and saying, I am worthy of this. It's okay
yes,
for me to
yes, yes,
accept
yes,
this. I
yes,
can
yes, yes,
use
yes,
this
yes, yes.
now. There was an exchange. So you
Yeah,
need to understand that everything is energy.
yes, yes, yes,
Every
yes, yes.
single thing is energy.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, as we're talking about giving and receiving, I too am very much a giver.
Mm-hmm.
There
Most of
was
the
this,
world is, yeah.
yeah, like if I go out, I'm always the first, like, yeah, no problem. Bup, 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 bup.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a point in which I too had to do the work and realize, hold on, let's
Mm-hmm.
assess
There are a lot
this
of
here.
takers around.
Get more lessons about you. Who are you?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it reshaped everything in terms of the intention of it, in understanding, why am I a giver? Am
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
giving with a hope to, or am I giving
Mm-hmm.
because this is a part of me? Am
Yes,
I giving and
yes.
am I also being a good receiver? I need to learn to
Mm-hmm.
also accept. And the same way I
Yes.
open my hands to
Mm-hmm.
give, it's okay to open my hands to receive and accept the
Mm.
blessings that are coming my way. I am
Yes,
worthy. I
yes.
am enough. I'm more than enough. I'm all got a bag of chips and throw some Skittles in it too. And yeah, next
Yes.
to a glass of soda. So, but in understanding that, knowing everything is energy, in giving,
Yeah.
we must understand that everything being energy, so long as you put out, it's going to come back. It's not always going to come in the form that you may
Yeah.
be expecting, but it comes back in
Yeah.
some way, some shape, some
Indeed.
form.
I agree.
And we have to be ready, willing, and able to receive
Yeah.
that, able to receive to
Yeah.
the amount that we're able to receive. There is an image that
Yeah.
stuck with me, and it's called the Book of the Monks, the Ethiopian Book of the Monks.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ethiopian Book of the Monks, which I found very powerful, I read when I was about 17. And one
Mm.
image that stayed with me always is an image of a monk offering his staff to someone
Mm.
who is drowning in water. And while
Mm.
the river is flowing and going, he's offering his staff. And the caption says, "Offer your staff, not your hand." And you had
Mm.
to reflect on that phrase. And then reflecting on that phrase,
Mm.
because being a giver, I was like, why? You have to save somebody's
Mm.
life. Jump in
Right.
that water, give your hand, pull them out.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, if you give your staff and you realize the person is drowning and they're about to pull you in with them and you cannot
Mm-hmm.
save them, you can let go your staff, but you cannot let go your hand. You give your hand, they pull you in
Ah.
with you, with them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is why it's so important of understanding, yes, give, but give, as you would oftentimes hear, don't take off your nose to spoil your face. So
Spoil
give,
your face. Right. Right. Right.
give, but ensure that you're not giving beyond your capacity. It shouldn't be that you give
Mm-hmm.
and you give in such a way that
Yeah.
it's going to set you back. And it's about being cheerful. I always say, if I cannot be a cheerful giver, I'm not going to give it. And I'm going to
Yes.
be
That's
comfortable
that's.
with my
Mm-hmm.
no, because it's about the
Mm-hmm.
energy. As you give, so
Mm-hmm.
too shall you receive. So if you
Right.
cannot
Right.
give with that ease, with that peace of mind, with
Yeah.
that, I like to call it like
Yes.
my yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, yes, Lord. If I don't feel like that,
Right.
that's not the
Mm-hmm.
energy I'm giving with. I
Right.
say, I would love to, but I'm sorry, I can't right now.
Right. 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 You're
And
making
some,
some beautiful
yes,
points there.
something with giving, it reminds me of, usually when it comes to giving, yes, persons say you can give of your smile, you can give of your time, but in today's world, money is the X factor that makes the world tick.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And
I
usually
wish there
when
were
we're,
other ways though, but yeah.
yeah, usually when we're giving, it's in the form of cash. Someone wouldn't usually ask you, can you give of your time? They would usually ask you, hey, I'm in a bind, can I borrow $1,000?
Yeah, yeah,
And I've learned
yeah.
this from my father-in-law. May God's perpetual light shine upon him. And he would always say, if someone asks you to lend them money, never lend money, always
Give.
give. So if
Mm-hmm.
they ask you for $1,000, know that if you are lending that, you have the possibility of never getting it back.
Yes,
So
don't
do
give
not
what you cannot
lend
do.
money.
Lend what you can, what you
Instead,
cannot give.
say
Yes.
what you can give. I can't lend you $1,000, but I can give you $200.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you leave it. You set it and forget it. And
Yeah,
save it with rotisserie chicken. Set it
yes,
and forget it.
yeah. Rotisserie chicken. You know, you said some very profound things that keep perking up inside of me with a response, and
Wow.
I love when I'm doing anything, Michelle, and you beautiful
Yes.
people who are listening and watching right now. It's like
Hi,
I just
Sparkle.
want to do it with such joy. I want to do it
Yes.
with as much joy as possible. Those just
Yes.
don't like let me just hand you something. You know, like
No.
I want so let me say something. Years ago, a friend of mine said to me, I was going through a situation and he I didn't want to receive. I was like really fighting and scraping my foot to the ground. No, 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 I don't want to receive. I don't want to receive. I'm giving him, you know. And he said, how selfish are you being? The joy
Mm.
is in the giver and the receiver. And
Yes.
that shifted me. That was like 12, 13 years ago. And it shifted me. It was a huge shift in perspective because even then, back in those days, I wasn't doing as much deep inner healing as I've done over the years. And
Right.
it was really profound. And we often make the other person a thief of our joy or what joy we could actually have by giving someone if we give them empty without any divine energy connected to it, without any
Yes.
intention. My thing is when I like something I love to do, I bake banana bread and sweet breads like ever so often. And when I bake, it's not no two, three, it's like a dozen. the big loaves, and I just give it away. My UPS
My
guy gets,
God,
his
to
daughter.
remind you, I get to
Mhm.
where you are in December. Banana bread. You
Certainly,
will be a giver
certainly.
then, I can guarantee you that.
I will
I
joyfully
will be the
make it, and that's the
receiver.
thing. I'm making it. I'm like, oh, I'm always putting in the energy that everybody's gonna enjoy this. And people always tell me, why don't you sell this? I'm like, no, it's gonna take away the joy of me making it. I don't want to be selling to fulfill an order. I want to make it that I know that they're gonna enjoy it. And this past, like, I made it like about probably a week and a half ago. All the responses that came back is like people ate out a big loaf of banana bread
Wow.
or sweet bread in a day, and they were like
Wow.
knocking back this thing. And so I just want to do everything as much as possible with joy. If you gotta come and enforce your opinion, like, no, 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 you gotta do this, no, 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 don't take away my ability to have joy in this moment, to give
Yes.
this to this person. And something else that you said, I have found in my work in the past 12 years that
Yes.
people are more invested when they pay for something. Now,
Always.
I've had experiences where a person couldn't afford. So I say, like, okay, what do you have to offer that I can barter with that will be joy for me to receive? And
Yes.
I've had people come with some really ridiculous things like, oh, I can give you the. No, that is, you're trying to take advantage right now. But a few years ago, I bartered with a painting with a client, and
I
now that
remember
painting is
that
worth
was such
a
a beautiful.
lot of money.
Wow, that's
Yes.
a beautiful
So
painting though.
yeah, yeah. And so in saying this, like, I've seen so many people I've had when I've done like a life coaching session or an angel session with a client, and or with a person pro bono for
Yes.
free, and it's recorded, and I asked them like months later, did you listen to the recording? Oh no, I didn't get around to it. And it's
Mm.
not like when you did your soul hypnosis, it's not like that. It
I
was
have
like they
listened to
discharged it.
the recording so many times though. I'm just saying.
Yes, but in people literally, because they got it for free, they didn't have a value. And another thing too, when people would come for, do you do free sessions? And then they do the free session, and you see them, or because they can afford it, and they're popping
Yes.
bottles in Vegas, or they're posting their new car or the Louis Vuitton. So that comes up as a disrespect as a person who's giving to you.
Yes.
So is
Yes.
again is the loving respect of each other. Let's respect what each person
Loving
is
respect.
offering. If your friend is selling something, or your friend isn't, like, we have some beautiful entertainers that came on
Right.
saying hello, they're doing a play, or they come out with a CD, a
Support.
download a CD or something, support them.
Support.
You gather a group of people and go and pay full price for what they're doing. Go to their concert, show up in the front row and
This
show
feels
your
like I
love.
need to do a plug. Virago is coming soon.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Support.
Sow a seed, help, assist. Just show your love. That's
Yes.
full-heartedly show your love. Don't do it for show or to let people know, oh, I'm supporting. No, do it.
No.
Only God should know.
Yes.
And so in giving, don't post. There's another thing that I've seen in social media and the TikTok videos and the different trends on Instagram and whatever. People are recording when they're giving to other people. And I know some videos are very
Mhm.
inspirational because they do bring tears to my eyes, because they're
Yes.
actually putting out an example there. But then there's
Yes.
some people taking it the extra mile, and they're
Mhm.
really watering down the thing. And
Yes.
in watering it down, they're posting just to get likes. And people, come on, let's come back to our hearts. Let's come back to our hearts. Come back to the sincerity that we all belong to each other.
Correct.
We are
Yes.
all one. We are all connected on a deeper level than we can even comprehend on a puny human mind, human brain perspective.
Yes.
So yeah.
So I want to say hello to Celine Camille Griffith. She is a beautiful soul, sweet soul,
Aw.
has a lovely voice. She's also on air and she says, Afternoon, love the convo. Wow, I was having a
Thank
similar
you.
conversation with a friend yesterday.
Alignment.
Comfort in receiving. Definitely alignment. Definitely.
Alignment,
Also
indeed.
want to say hi
Indeed.
to Avalon Angela Timothy.
Hello,
Hi,
Avalon.
ladies. It's a pleasure to have you. And I know that it is just about that time in which we've got to do some soul spection.
Yes.
So today's session of Soul Spection, it is actually coming from my book titled Soul
Mm.
Spection, and it is the very first piece that greets you, and it is I am.
Mm.
I'm not a raffle, so with me there are no chances. I'm a woman, no longer a girl given to glances. My mind is focused. It no longer dances. And I clearly articulate what my stance is. I'm not a taxi, so with me there are no rides. I'm a woman, no longer a girl wanting to be one of the brides. My decisions I make when my feelings subsides, and my beauty can be seen even though my face hides. I'm not a toy, so with me there are no games. I'm a woman, no longer a girl crying of pains. My stare can penetrate deeper than burning flames. And I'm not given to calling names. I'm not a phone. So with me, there's no holding on. I'm a woman, no longer a girl chasing after what is gone. My heart is like a phoenix. It can be reborn. And I know there is power in letting go and moving on.
Ah,
I am.
yeah. Oh my gosh. As I always say to you, your words are one of your gifts. The
Thank you, my
vibration of the words, yes, yes, it's gonna go really, really, really far. And I'm listening to that, I can see the evolution of a woman. And we
yes.
all have masculine and feminine energies, but even that feminine energy in a man as well. You
Yes.
can The
Yin yang
evolution of it.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, balance, balance, balance.
So now it's a new walk. So it moves from girl to woman to now Virago.
Woman.
Woman.
Yes,
Warrior woman.
beautiful warrior, These are
Yes.
the Virigo. I love that concept because it's of a woman who is empowered, who is
Yes.
standing in her purpose, and she is bringing. It's like the Joan of Arcs of the world, like the energy, the
That is
Mother Marys,
exactly
the
how Virago is described. Always
Yes.
when you get the word Virago, they put a picture of Joan of Arc.
Oh, wow, wow, wow,
And I
wow,
know
wow,
you didn't
wow,
know
wow.
that. So that
No,
is
no, 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 no.
so very much in alignment.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
like standing in your power, whether it be gentle power or whether it be that power, standing in
Yeah.
that power
There
and
are times when we
serving
need
your
to
purpose.
awaken. Yeah, that fighting spirit.
Yes, 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 yes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, Michelle.
Oh gosh, thank you, my darling. Thank you.
Oh,
And
you're
now
most
let's do
welcome.
some hard work with Narda.
Oh, oh, I just love that music. And in talking about hard work, because I never pre-plan anything. I just want to go with the flow of the session and the flow of the conversations. But I think in everything that we talked about, there's so many valuable points of different things that came up that we all can really dive deeper into it. So within a sentence, you can dive into it from a deeper level. But in today's hard work, I will urge every single person. I want to more like urge you and encourage you. We talked about don't wait until there's a big wake up call or rock bottom to like answering the call and listening to the call and you actually making steps forward to shed the old to be able to step into that energy moving forward into the self that will be answering and stepping out and manifesting in a physical form the call. So my heart work today for everybody is please zoning to your heart. Be utterly, 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 utterly truthful to yourself. Really sit with yourself and get a notepad or something, get a copybook, get a piece of paper and start to write out what do you feel and forget about the whole concept that they say dreams, some dreams don't happen. We all have dreams and those dreams are purposeful. And most things, most times people don't live out their dreams. People don't even attempt to even start to take one step in front of the other in terms of to see how it goes and develops. But my heart work for everybody today, get a piece of paper and start to write out the things that that's in your heart. You can take and yeah, whatever it may be, get a note in your phone. Look at it where, I would highly suggest a note in your phone because we all carry our phones with us everywhere we go. And you can pull out that note and you can add to it and you can edit it and you can and then begin to really dive deeper in terms of like be aware of why you think those things you shouldn't start and why it's not going to be successful, and pay attention to who does that belong to. As we talked about, I think it's 2 sessions back, it's like placing your hand on your heart and asking yourself where that false belief of that media don't make money, writing doesn't make money, that you're gonna just be a pauper as an artist, whatever, in the art form, you're gonna be a pauper. These are false beliefs that we buy into, and then we give it our divine energy and we manifest it onwards, right? Start to pay attention to where it comes from. It might be your grandmother said it. It might be you grew up just hearing it over and over and over through your high school teacher, or every society have added bits and pieces to make it feel as though it was real and solid. But and then you made it part of like overlapping on top of that vision God gave you inside of yourself, that excitement, that flow, right? So begin, let's write out and start to, introspect a little bit. Where did this come from? And hand it back to who it came from. Literally, like I give it back to, what, and even if you don't have, you can't remember, just say, God, I hand it to you. Cup your hands like this, place it, and literally put all those beliefs. And it may not remove the belief entirely, but the power of it for this situation, it will lessen it, right? And so you hand it back to God. I remember, I gotta give this funny one. Years ago, I was dating a guy, right? And I was afraid that if I surrendered that little relationship that we had, God was gonna dissolve it, because inside of myself, I knew it wasn't right. But I was like 22, right? So I knew it was, oh my gosh, but I knew it was too much pain to be in it. And it wasn't abusive or nothing. He was a good soul, but he wasn't my soul, my good soul for me. So I cupped my hand and I said, Father God, I place this person and myself into it, and I hand it to you. Darling, in a week that was dissolved. So I must say, coming back, be very honest with yourself, all these things. Like, what is the things that you have to shed? You got to deal with the alcoholism, you got to lessen or cut off the weed smoking, you got to, whatever is distracting you, go deeper into yourself. Be very honest with you. You don't have to include another individual to try to get them their opinions, actually other people's limiting beliefs. You don't need that right now. You need the soul and respect, as Michelle's word. You need to go within yourself. And so that is what I will really, to help people to sort of peel over the layers, peel back the layers of the onion, to really get to the core of what is that calling within me. What is that excitement? What is that joy? And of course, there's nothing without a connection with God, with divine, with the universe. I'm not a preacher in any form of fashion, but you cannot be disconnected from God. You cannot be disconnected from the very source that gave you life, the very source that created you. So, yeah, that's where I can say that's a start. That's not the end all be all,
So Celine says, I needed this today. Look
Oh,
at you manifesting and getting exactly what you need, and more.
yes,
And more.
yes,
Isn't that awesome?
beautiful. Yes,
Awesome. Awesome. I do want to say that if anyone wants to book a session with Narda, you can simply book by going to www.nardamohammed.com. And please be sure to also follow Narda on social media, trauma_coach_Narda. And that is the name on all social media platforms.
that's on Instagram and TikTok, which I haven't begun using TikTok like a professional over here that I know.
I've been
But yeah,
telling you, join me
you
on
can
the
follow
top.
me on Facebook. It's my, I have a semi personal and business page, which is my personal page, Narda
Yeah.
Mohammed, and just follow me there. Yeah, I post stuff all the time, and yeah, it's gonna be uplifting to somebody.
Yes. And if you're ready to wake your dreams up, I'll be happy to hold your hand and wake your dreams up with you.
Yes,
Simply email goldenvoiceglobal@gmail.com. And you can also feel free to visit michelleborel.com. So we are always very happy to have the honor of connecting with you. And at this time, if there are any
yeah.
questions that you wish to ask, place that in the comment section and we'll be happy to answer those questions. Coming up in just a bit, we have some feel good tips, but I really want to sit for a moment with what you've just said, Narda, in terms of being able
Mm,
to cup your hands and offer it
yes.
up, offer it up,
Surrender.
surrender. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that word surrender is so beautiful and
Mm,
really gets us to the
mm,
shores of our
yes.
destiny. When I
Mm,
think of my grandfather, every night as a child growing up, he would have been telling me this story of when he almost drowned. And he would
mm,
say, before he knew it, he was in the deep. The current pulled him back. So he started to fight and tried to swim to get to the shore, but the current kept pulling him back. So he, before long, got so tired until he realized that it was not until he relaxed, treaded water,
Ah.
and surrendered that he waited for the wave to come and he swam with the wave.
Mm. Mhm.
Current would pull him a
Mhm.
little out again, and then he
Mhm.
would wait for the other wave and swim with the wave. And he
Mm.
did that until he eventually got to the shore. And it was
Wow.
not
Yes.
until in my personal life when I felt in my early 20s like I was
Hmm.
drowning, like the current pulled
Mm.
me away. And it was not until all the fun and games ended that I realized I'm pretty far from where I'm supposed to be. What's going on here?
Right.
That
Right.
I remembered that, and the parallel just kicked in, and I had that aha moment. I nearly got a tattoo with that aha moment saying ride the wave, but I'm happy I didn't. But it was the importance of
Mm.
understanding that we must be able to surrender and ride the wave.
Mm.
And I think,
Yes.
especially when we
Yes.
offer up to God and we say, Father, not my will,
Hmm.
but your will be done. Remove far from me anyone who is not in line with the purpose that you have for me. You'll be
Yes.
amazed at the
Indeed.
disappearing acts
Mhm.
that might start taking place. You'll be
Yes, and
like,
when God is
"Woo,
removing,
yeah,
allow. Don't fight it.
yes.
You know.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Don't fight
What
it
you
at
what you
all."
talked about, it gives the reference of the Chinese or the Japanese finger trap. When there's a finger trap that when you pull, you resist, you
Yes.
get it wrapped around your finger even tighter. But when you release and you allow, it slips
That's,
right through. And I gotta give an example of some beautiful clients of mine. They were trying to have a child. They were trying to conceive, and they tried every humanly way possible with the different medical help that they can, and they were eating right, and they're trying to exercise, they're trying to get their bodies in optimum shape to be able
yes.
to conceive this beautiful munchkin. And of course, I had the dreams, and I saw, I'm a Joseph over here dreaming all the time, and the intuitive dreams, and I messaged them and I said, "Here, what? The baby is coming. The baby is coming. Let's relax, enjoy, right?"
Wow.
But what, of course, when a person is going through what they're going through, when you are in it, it's hard to like really
Yes.
receive that and the profundity of it that it really is. And what they did, I don't know how long after, or when they actually went, they said, "You know what, let's just go out and have a few drinks, and let's go and have a good time and whatever." And mind you, they are carnival babies, right? So they love the mass and they love the fat and thing. So they went out on a weekend and they just enjoyed. That was the weekend they conceived.
Yeah.
The
When you
baby
relax,
is now
just
she's almost
have
2.
fun. Yeah.
Yes. So they surrendered, and I oftentimes ask my client, I said, "What did you actually do?" She said, "I let go. I released." I said, "You
Let,
know what? I whatever, if it's meant to be, it will be." And she worked, it's so often we work ourselves up so much to
yes.
a point of resistance, and
Yes.
then we get to a place of like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm fed up." God, no, you have the way. But let's
This,
learn ourselves into a way.
yeah, this is so
I'm not going
divine.
to work up. Yeah.
And like, I'm pulling my phone because I need to let you know what message I got this morning from another
Mm.
book that is being compiled. And one of my soul sisters who's putting together her chapter, she said, my chapter is called The Day I Let Go.
Ah.
I got that this
Mm.
morning.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
It's
is
a
the
reminder for us all. Yeah.
message. Just
Yeah.
let go. Let go.
Let go, let go. And letting
Yeah.
go doesn't mean giving up. Letting go doesn't mean like, okay, I forget about this dream or forget about this vision or whatever. Letting go is kind of like inviting divine,
Yes.
God, creator, and
Yes.
your divine team or your divine help to step in, and without you trying to like insist or control the situation. So that's a great, I'm sure that's going to be a great chapter.
Sheldon
Let go and
Mendoza
let
says,
God,
let go and
indeed.
let God. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Be
Yeah.
sure to drop any questions that you have in the comment section. And that's the important thing right there, the ability to let go, knowing that it's not
Oh
happening to you,
gosh.
but for you. And
Yeah. And I have to say this,
yeah,
Michelle, in when we have the control issues and when there's a control outside of ourselves trying to make things happen and fit things into place to the force that spouse or that romantic partner to act a certain way to make us happy. Go deeper into self and see why am I trying to control? What from my childhood,
yeah,
what into my previous relationships I don't want to experience anymore, that I insist that this round I am going to control things. And so dive deeper. Those are the things that I really encourage
yes,
people to like and insist that people look at it from a deeper perspective. Don't, oftentimes we are the ones projecting. We project
hmm,
onto other people that have nothing to do with the actual thing,
true, true.
So I had to just throw that in, sorry.
And no, I'm happy you did. It reminds me as well as my aunt told me she's visiting from the States. And every time she visits, I look forward to these visits. She always says something profound that stays with me. And while I would usually say, I didn't order that online, if something comes my way that is not within the energy of what I know I'm in alignment with, I would say I didn't order that online. But she said something even more profound. And it's because, as I would always say, the universe answers always in the affirmative. The universe is the eternal optimist. It never hears
Mm,
no. So if you are saying, I don't want,
mm.
it does not hear the not. It just hears,
Or the don't.
I want, I want,
Yes, yes,
I want.
yes,
Because
yes.
it is the eternal
What you
optimist. And this
focus
is
on.
something we need to remember. What you focus on, you attract. Where
Yes.
attention goes, energy flows.
I wish
So
it was
this is
taught in
why,
schools. Like
yeah,
seriously.
we need to start a school maybe. But this
Yeah.
is what we need to ensure. The profound
Mm,
words of my aunt. Your
mm.
blessing knows your address.
Ah, yes. Oh boy. I wish we could just like see it every single day, like move through life and just be, oh yes, you're blessed. No, but sometimes we do forget, but it's a great reminder for us to remind ourselves about it. But it's
Yes,
so true. What is for you is yours. And what will be. Once you stay in alignment. Now, don't go live a life of being reckless with your energy and reckless with your purpose and reckless with your heart and not go dive deeper in terms of healing and expect it just to show up. You have to be in alignment to what is
yes,
divine. What is God's plan for you? And we all have a plan. There's all a purpose for each one of us. We all have gifts as well. There's giftings
indeed.
within each one of us.
Indeed. And I just want
Mhm.
to say hello to my mommy. I love you.
Oh,
Roxanne Brown Phillips, I love you. And
come
it's
on,
that time.
mom.
Hi, mommy. So we have some feel good tips. So, what is your feel good tip for today, Narda?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been sharing all of it, most of it so far.
Yes.
Yes, just come back to self. Come back to self. There's so many different things that, I have a wealth of information I can share, but whatever is not you, work on shifting, releasing, letting go. Just think
Yes.
of it like the core of an onion, and there's the layers of it. The layers of things came from society, parenting. Our parents tried the best that they could have. Some of us have been left traumatized, but still be working on those things. School, media, whatever. There's all these different influences, and it makes up what is called your personality because you draw meaning and you brought over this identity into yourself. Come back to self. Come back to the core. Really ask yourself, why am I this particular way? Why do I don't like people, or I don't like to be hugged? Why don't you like to be hugged? Or did somebody inappropriately hug you when you were a kid? Was it something that you
Right.
felt an icky energy from somebody? Like commit to heal those parts of yourself, and on a simplistic level, on an everyday moment to moment. Now, what I just said is like that's a long-term goal, right? Well, what is a short-term goal is to really shed energies that doesn't belong to you. Why are you
Yes.
keeping in energy? A lot of times we feel icky within our energy and we feel emotional and depressed. And you know what, to be honest, it's not even ours. There's a saying somewhere that said before you diagnose yourself with something, be sure you're not surrounded by the bleep, you know,
Yes.
so before you go and you diagnose yourself to say that you're depressed or you have anxiety, whatever, try to get to the root of it and just begin to shed yourself from other people's stories and come
Change your
back to the core
circle.
that is you. Oh yeah, that's what.
I'm seeing that Celine Griffith says my feel good tip is
Yes.
get naked, fall in love with the authentic you. It's a
Oh,
beautiful experience.
yes.
I love that. My husband walks in
Mm.
on me all the time. He's again,
TMI.
I've never seen anyone who loves themselves this much. But
But that
seriously,
even
love yourself. Love
that
yourself,
too is a
every part of
process.
you.
And be
Yes,
gentle with yourself on the process of getting there. A lot of us, some of us are more wounded than others. We all have trauma in some level, something that influenced our heart from, cause us to shut down or cause us to be less open and all of that. But be gentle with yourself. Commit to healing you. Commit to not healing your partner or healing your children. Or do you know how many times wives come to me and say, "My husband is the one is the problem," or
and
it's
you're
rare that
like,
husbands say that.
it
And
could be.
they no, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. No, they would say you need to hypnotize my husband to get him to stop smoking and get him to. And I remember being in Canada. I was in Canada at an event, and the lady walked up to me through my hostess, introduced us, and she was like, "You need to hypnotize my husband to stop smoking." And the guy looked like the sweetest guy ever, right? And I looked at him, I was like, "Do you like smoking?" And he's like, "Yes." He actually enjoys it. Now, it's not my opinion if it's good or bad, right? But the very fact that he have put a positive meaning to it, that's going to be difficult. Now, a lot of times, a lot of women tend to say, "My husband is a problem." No, I highly suggest you before you know, well,
Yes,
outright, some things could be the husband is a problem, but oftentimes when you want to label everybody else around you as the problem,
check yourself.
you're the
Take
common
accountability of
denominator.
your own hand.
Exactly, exactly. But I have to say, in that smoking thing, I don't judge, but that smoking is not healthy for you. It's shutting down your organs and whatever, whatever. It's hampering your divine balance in your system.
Right.
If you put positive meaning to it, as in anything, you can put positive meaning to something that is poisonous to your energy.
Yes.
That's the connecting factor to you and the addiction. Why are you
Yes.
addicted? What smoking could be like a form of meditation for some people, breathing in and out.
True. Yes.
A time to pause. That's the only time they allow themselves to pause, when they go outside for a smoke. How about shifting that and doing the pause elsewhere? And nicotine is an addictive drug in itself.
Yes.
So it's like, what are you trying to pause from? Work on the actual thing you're trying to pause your life from. And then you won't, and stop judging the actual drug, stop judging the cigarette, stop judging the whatever you use, and because within yourself is not good. And I have a client in Hawaii right now. When I've interacted with her in Hawaii, she was smoking a lot of weed.
Oh
And
wow.
now I don't judge people and their experience, that's their
Yes.
unique journey,
Of
unique
course.
experience. And when we started to work on the roots of things, she told me all she needs to do is she take one little vape of night and to go to sleep. But the thing is, she used it as a medicinal way now, not as an addictive way. But she had a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of deep rooted childhood trauma. So
Mhm.
that's the reason why you're trying to numb yourself from the things that you're still reeling from.
Right. And I think you said it beautifully from our very first episode, which is suppression leads to depression. And I
Yes,
think that is
yes,
a
yes, yes.
beautiful example of that. So, the feel good tip that I would have today is the ability to
Yes.
dance, the ability to
Mm,
sing, even if it's going to
mm,
be off key. Very often, when we're going through something,
mm-hmm,
we get into a serious mode. But in the words of Stuart Wilde, he says seriousness is a
mm,
disease of the ego. I always talk about that
mm,
quotation because
yeah.
I think it is so powerful. Seriousness is a disease of the ego, and we need to be able
Mm,
to drop the E and go. I spoke about the inability to hold a note, and my mom said, like you, LOL. I say everyone could sing, but it's how they could sing. So I'm the type of singer
yeah.
that I don't really hit the keys. I hit a key, but not the
Not
keys,
Diki.
not the key, the needed key. But
Oh,
we
that's so
need to be
funny.
able to just, again, let go, let loose, free yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to sing or dance anywhere. Mommy, this is way too
Mm.
much info. They don't need to know just how much I cannot sing.
Mom telling your files.
Yeah, she's like, no, don't do it, don't do it. But we need the ability to just sing, dance. And often
Yes.
when a character building moment comes our way, if you stay in that place, that space, and that time when you heard whatever you heard
Mm,
that's trying to impact on you, so long as you get up and move and dance and groove
mm,
and you start thinking, you realize you're changing the energy, you're
gratitude.
building a different energy.
And the frequency,
And
yeah.
yeah, and as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, he says, so long as you change your personality, you change your personal reality.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
here's another reminder from my mom who says, you only have keys to talk and drive.
yeah. Mom, you know something to say, Michelle. A lot of people who embark on the spiritual journey, whether through the route of religion or spirituality, or who have
Yes,
like really pushing against the religion, it doesn't matter.
yes,
If you're seeking enlightenment, seek to lighten
yes.
up. So
Correct.
you
I love that.
seeking
If you're
to,
seeking enlightenment, seek to lighten up.
yeah,
Don't take
lighten up if you
it
want to be
serious.
enlightened. And that's to say, exactly what you just said there is to lighten up. That's lighten up. And some of that lightening up means like sometimes doing that deep inner work to cry those tears that you didn't cry when you were 5, or
Exactly.
to release that ex that hurt you really badly. That's lightening up, because all that is gunk within your energy. That is carrying it forward because you just suppressed it really, really, really low down, and it turned into those things. I have to say, and when I say speak exactly for the Caribbean market, like of
Yes.
Trinidad and the rest of the Caribbean, we are taught a culture of suppression. We are taught a culture to just, when you're getting like as a little kid, they'll beat you and say, "Don't cry," give you something to cry for, but you're actually suppressing the actual emotion, and not allowing the child to express the pain that they're feeling. So
Yes.
the going deeper in terms of that is like the culture is a culture of suppression and not expression, not letting go. I ain't saying go cuss out your neighbor. No, it doesn't have to. It doesn't. Most times, it's nothing to do with the other person that's
But
bringing it
that,
up. It's
no,
something within yourself.
don't
Yeah.
do that. Don't.
No, no, no. We're not encouraging that.
Was just
Yes,
checking.
but it's
But
it's just deeper, deeper. It just really going deeper into it. It's like the things that you don't have forgiveness again. Let's talk about forgiveness for a minute. And I know we're going a little longer, but
yes.
forgiveness doesn't have to deal with the other person. You can forgive the person from within yourself and
Thank
release them. You don't
you.
have
I
to
mean,
say, I need to talk to you, I need to forgive you, I need
no.
to, ask your forgiveness. It doesn't have to be. You can
And
forgive the
forgiven doesn't
abuser.
mean reconnection. We
No,
need
no, no,
to
no, 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 no,
understand
no, no, no.
forgiveness is really about how you feel on the inside. It's an inside
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
You can forgive
Yes, 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 yes.
someone anywhere, anytime, any place
Even
without
someone who
you
have
being
died.
in their
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
As
yeah.
I would say, forgiveness is not between you and the perpetrator, but you and your creator.
Yes,
And
yes, 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 yes,
on
yes,
the
yes.
outside, there's some persons who believe, okay, you forgive this person, that means you have to be chummy chummy again. You all need to talk. We don't
No, no, no.
need
Wisdom,
to.
people, wisdom.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
have
wisdom.
forgiven and we move on.
Yeah,
Forward ever.
yeah, 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 yeah. Don't
Forward
forgive and
ever.
they say the forgiving and forgetting. That's one I grew up hearing a lot. Forgive and forget. No, forgive and be wise.
Yes.
Forgive and be wise,
Yes.
because you're
Put
gonna put
bitterness
yourself
by
back into
child.
the same lesson that the situation was, to learn a lesson. Because
Yes.
oftentimes, yes, you may be projecting on the other person about, thinking it is something that it's not, but sometimes it is actually what it is. So being
Hmm.
mindful that the narcissistic personality may actually be a narcissist that you actually need to cut off. So I get very passionate about some things you're
No,
talking about. So I know we're going
this
about.
is this had. I'm feeling like it's pulling something out of me too. This is a passionate
Yeah.
topic for me also. As Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are,
Believe
believe
them.
them. The first time. The
Yes, yes,
first
yes,
time.
yes, 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 yes. Don't add and thinking like, because even when you're creating an identity around this person, despite they just showed you who they are, you gotta ask
Yes.
yourself, what are you trying to create? Like, why and who are you trying to make that person into? Like, was it a
Yes.
father figure? who, didn't give you the love that you desired or you wanted at that age or that certain. By the way, that same father right now can't even give you what you're still yearning from that age. You got to come in a level of acceptance that I accept what happened. I accept that I didn't get the love that I wanted at that particular age. I accept that it's gone, and I accept and plug yourself into God, plug yourself into divine, and get that love from divine, that unconditional divine love. So, yeah, sometimes you really, not everything is about manifestation and projection. Sometimes you really have to deal with the person who's looking right in front of you.
Take it for
That
what it
is,
is. Don't
yes, yes,
expect
yes, yes,
an
yes.
orange out of an apple.
Exactly, exactly. And they try to make the apple look like an orange either.
Yes. True.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very true. I thank you so very much, Narada. This has been a
Oh, thank you
beautiful
too.
session. Always a pleasure to
Yes.
connect with you, sweet soul. And I thank
Oh,
you for joining
yes.
us, for sharing in this heart to heart with us, this soul
Mhm.
session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a fantastic one. Middle of the week, middle of the day. Michelle and Narada Soul Sessions. So next week, see you. It's going to be
Yay,
uploaded on
bye.
YouTube. Check it out. Love
Yes.
you.